And now it's time to catch up with Kathy, for our local horticulturist. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Thurston. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm very good, very good. It's been a good, nice summer so far. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems that even though we've had a cool summer, as soon as February hits, we always get hot weather.
All right. So, what should we be thinking about in the garden today?
Well, I think we have to start thinking about the hot days that we're going to have this week.
Yes.
Including today. And I know when I got back from Sydney last Sunday, it was so hot, and a lot of my plants had suffered. The kids had told me how hot it had been, but hadn't thought about watering the garden for me.
Oh no, of course they don't think of those things.
So yeah, I'll put the sprinkler on this morning before it gets too hot. Give it a good drench. At least it's not going to be suffering too much with the heat when that comes.
Yeah, it's a good time to move pots around as well. If you do have pots, you can at least put them in the shade. Yeah,
I gather them together, all my hydrangeas, get all plants like together and put up the umbrellas. So even though I'm not sitting outside today, the large umbrellas will give my plants some protection.
No, I think it's a very good idea. Actually, I hadn't thought of that before, but you could use umbrellas to keep it dry.
Yeah, the pots need a good soak too, because they do dry out faster than plants that are in the ground. But if you've got some shade cloth, you can put that over some plants that need protection. Even my grandma used to put the old sheets out, cover her ferns. Just think of all the plants that start to suffer on those really, really hot days.
Yep.
They're fine for the rest of the year, but it's just that extreme heat. You know yourself that you don't like those days too much. The plants are just the same.
So is there any slow release moisture products you can buy to...
You can buy... there's water granules that you can plant in the ground to absorb the water that you give, and also throwing products that help the water go down through the top surface. That will help them absorb the water, and you can throw the slow-release fertiliser out as well. But I'd be worrying more about their heat rather than giving them a feed at the moment.
Yes, exactly, yeah. So I know it's a great time for actual fruit and produce. So we've got 2 plum trees, and in previous years we never had to put any nets on them, but we got a beautiful few kilos, and we made some jam just this weekend, which is great.
There's a lot of fruit and vegetables now that are coming from all the spring work that everyone did, and the lovely rain that we had, and lots of produce coming. So don't forget to bring that inside. Probably best to pick it in the morning before it gets too hot.
Yeah.
And again, you can protect, even your tomatoes can get a bit of sunburn. So sometimes when you're pruning plants, it's always best to leave some sort of cover for those hot days.
I must admit, blackberries, I think, I know they're a bit of a pest with regards to they spread very quickly, but they keep giving and giving with the fruit on one tree. You know, you can have a crop, and then a few days later you've got some more black ones coming up.
Yeah, as long as you haven't sprayed them with anything.
No, I know.
They're good. They're good to eat and harvest. And fresh blackberries are beautiful, and you can freeze them as well and just bring them out and do them. I love doing with the overnight oats with yogurt and milk and oats and blackberry, and that just all absorbs. It's beautiful. Yeah,
you do see a lot on the side of the road, but I must admit they taste a bit dusty.
Yeah, and also too, you're not too sure. Usually the council have to put signs out that
that's right.
Sprayed it, but generally they say not to spray when the plants are bearing fruit, just so that people don't pick them. But there's lots of other beautiful berries. The raspberries, they'll be having their summer harvest now, and then we have some other raspberries that will do autumn, which says keep good produce again and again and again. And I know a lot of people are saying they've had a beautiful crop of zucchinis this year.
Oh, right.
And also cucumbers too.
Yeah, they've got my mother-in-law, she has those, I think they call them Lebanese cucumbers, but they've got really thick skins. You have to actually peel them because they're too thick.
Peel them to use the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, one of the guys at work gave me some of his zucchinis, and I made some beautiful zucchini slice.
Yeah.
So it's good, especially if you have run out of your own, and we all share produce, which is good.
Yeah, no, it's a great time of year. And I've got some figs for the first time of coming up. I don't know why it's taken them so long, but they maybe have a
It
7
has been
years.
a slow year this year for figs.
It is a good year, is it? Yeah.
It's been a slow year.
Oh,
So I think that it's because we had so much rain and it was cool early on that they've taken a while. But don't forget the birds love them even when they're green.
I got
So
to change the
put
nets
some
over.
them.
Yeah. So do they? If you keep watering them, they make them much bigger and luscious because they don't seem to be very big at the moment.
No, they're very small, all the figs, but I think it's just early on for them.
Yeah. Okay.
But if you give them seaweed solution
Yes.
as well, that helps.
All right.
And
Okay.
keep the water up and mulch them.
Yep.
But especially keep the birds off them.
That's a big problem. Yeah.
And as I was saying before, it's even though it's not until spring, but you see the flowers, now's the time to start planning and organising garden beds for the spring flowering bulbs.
For spring flowering.
Yeah, all the daffodils, freesias, ranunculus, anemones, all those sort of things. People see them in the pots when they're flowering and they want to buy the bulbs then, but you've got to plant them in autumn for them to flower in springtime.
Wow. Yeah, you've got to think 6 months ahead.
Yeah, so you've really got to think ahead in the garden. But if you organise an area in your garden or in pots and put some fertiliser in now, some manure, so usually we get them end of February, beginning of March to plant them, and they look beautiful, mass plantings of them. Always beautiful plants to bring inside flowers on the table.
Yeah, it is a nice time for that. Yeah, definitely.
And also garlic. It's time to start putting your garlic in March, end of Feb, March, so you can start preparing your beds for that as well.
And basically, you can just use the cloves of your garlic you just buy in the shops, can't you?
You have to make sure that they're certified organic. That's the ones that they sell disease-free. When you buy the seed, they call seed garlic, but they're cloves. But if you are buying them from the shops, you've got to make sure they're certified organic, and then they haven't been sprayed with any growth inhibitors or any other nasties.
And do you have to wait for the shoots to come out? Do you keep them on the kitchen?
You can plant them before the shoots start to come, as long as you separate them from the large clump of them, the bulb.
Okay.
And they take quite a while. It's a patience thing, the garlic. But once you start harvesting them, you get lots and just dry them off, and then you should have a year's worth of garlic.
And what about onions? Are they similar or?
They are in the onion family, and if you let them grow to flower, you do get a beautiful big onion flower. But you're best to cut the flower as it starts to form and curl around.
Yeah. So with the onions, you put them just under the ground. They have to be a certain way up.
You've got the garlic cloves. They've got to be pointed side up.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, and if you did onions, the same thing. You've got to have them with the
onions. You tend to do by seed. But there are certain clumping onions that you can divide. But onions by seed or seedling, shallots and garlic by the bulb.
Right. Yeah, it's something which everyone uses, and it'd be handy to just go and pick them out of the garden.
Sorry, missed that one.
Oh, I said it's a great thing to have in the garden because you can just pick it when you want it, and everyone uses them for everything.
Yeah. And you can use the green shoots like you do spring onions, but it's best to wait until they've all started to die off, and then test one, dig that out and see if that's big enough. And then they usually produce more bulbs in the last few weeks.
I think that's right.
But it is a long-term crop, but not a lot goes wrong with it. So you do get a lot back for your return.
Excellent. No, that's something definitely worth thinking about. So you have lots of presents for the spring.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's just a few things you've got to organise beforehand for the plants that take a long time to grow, but it's worth it.
Yeah. And have you had any people coming down to the shop and asking questions, particularly since Christmas?
There's been a lot of fungicides around at the moment.
Yes.
With all the rain that we had. So, trying to get good ones to use that aren't too toxic for us, especially on the edibles. And also the white butterfly with the green caterpillar that they lay. So there's good organic ways to use that, especially the ones that go into your broccoli, which we'll be planting, and also the ones that are in your tomatoes.
Yeah, those white butterflies, they're very big this year, aren't they? They're everywhere.
They are, yes. As everyone's been commenting, as you're just walking around, they're just flying everywhere.
Yeah. So they actually lay caterpillars, did you say?
Yeah, they lay the eggs, and then the eggs turn into the caterpillars.
And it becomes a whole cycle.
It is, yeah. So you've got to try. You can use decoy ones that scares them away.
Oh, right.
And then that way they're very territorial. So the idea is that they don't come and lay eggs around plants where you've got these dummy white butterflies on sticks.
Right.
And that's what they used to use upside-down eggshells to look like the butterflies.
Oh.
But if you do get them in your garden, you can use dipel, which is an organic one. So you don't have any effect on us at all. Just affects the caterpillar itself. It's safe for ladybirds and all good insects and birds.
Yeah, but they're not actually moths, though, are they? Because a lot of people thought they were moths because they're kind of like a whitey colour, but they're butterflies.
Yeah, so I had this lady a few years ago that wanted me to help her design a butterfly garden. She had beautiful flowers to get all the butterflies in. Then she came in a few months later and wanted something to kill all the caterpillars that were in her garden. And I said, no, that's what you get from the butterflies.
Exactly.
So you kill those, you won't get the butterflies
It's
again.
a cycle. Yep, you've got to understand.
So there are some test ones that you can get rid of. But just make sure that the caterpillars that you're wanting to kill aren't turning into some of the beautiful butterflies.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. Talking about the issues with moisture, all my grapes this year are non-existent. They've all gone hard because of all the moisture and rain we've had. It's been too much, so they're no good. So no net. Don't have to net them at all this year because there's nothing.
Yeah, so it's been a funny year for a lot of things this year.
It has.
Because it was a late season and then it was cold.
Yep.
And then we had a lot of rain. And so now, as I said, we've hit February, so we're getting a few hot days. As long as we don't get too many, it'll be fine.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Oh, that's great, Kathy. You've given us a good reason to get out in the garden before it gets too hot and prepare for the coming year.
Hot weather.
Yeah. Great, mate. Well, have a great rest of the weekend, and we look forward to catching up with you again next month.
You too. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye for now. Cheers.